Well, welcome back to the channel. As you can tell, this is a night ride. Night ride from Taupō through to, I think I get to Auckland. As you can see, it's not the best weather for riding. More like duck weather. Anyway, reason I took off early, I left early from Taupō, pretty much because the weather forecast was for shitty weather, as you can see. However, the weather was supposed to be fine up until, well, not fine, but you know, it wasn't supposed to rain heavy until sort of mid-morning. So I thought, well, if I get some miles under my belt, at least I'll be halfway up the island before the rain comes down. This is about 2 minutes after leaving where I was staying. Yeah, so it was spitting when I left. By the time I got into the centre of Taupō, it was pouring, and it didn't stop pouring until I pretty much got home. So about 5 or 6 hours later. As you can see, it's starting to really hose down. It gets way heavier than this. So this is just a selection of video of me travelling up the island. So there's a few shots through towns and that sort of thing. You might be able to recognise the towns. That was obviously Taupō that we're just heading out of now. There is no forward-facing video on this, because even though, as you can see on the screen there, the helmet camera is definitely on. Yeah, some idiot forgot to press the record button, and so there is no video for that. So I saved battery, and well, not a lot of battery, but I saved space on the card inside the battery. So that's a bonus. But anyway, this is heading up the island through a few towns which you might be able to recognise, and yeah, not the most optimal riding conditions. As you can see, it's fairly dark, and the lights on the KLR they're not well, they're not ridiculous, but they're not the best in the world. And this was a little bit of interesting sort of goings on here. I didn't know what the hell was going on up ahead of me. There was a couple of cars parked on the side of the road with their hazards going. There was a B train halfway up the hill, halfway in the lane, halfway on the side of the road, and I didn't know whether I'd come across an accident or not, but turns out it looks like he might have just pulled out of the old servo there after grabbing himself a pie and a Coke, and might have come up the hill here and come to grief and either missed a gear, or I don't know what he did, but he was standing on the side of the road waving his arms around like a joke with a cut off head, or a headless chicken, something like that. But yeah, so it was the New World truck parked on the side of the road there. And surprisingly, I thought it was a B train when I rode past it, but it wasn't. It was just a 40-foot or so. Anyway, we carried on. So as you'll see as we head north, the rain looks like it eases about here, but that's like lulling me into the false sense of security, because it didn't last for long, and I certainly found out that these riding gear that I've got, even though they are fairly good, I mean, they're not wet weathers at all, they're just standard riding gear. Yeah, well, I didn't get totally saturated until I hit the southern motorway in Auckland, and by that time, yeah, I was soaked right through. But other than that, they were pretty good. I sprayed some Rain-X on my visor There's a special Rain-X you can use for plastic visors. I sprayed that on prior to leaving for Wellington, and yeah, it seemed to work on the way down to Wellington. Sort of ran out of effectiveness on the way back. Don't know whether that was because of the amount of water that was on there, but I tended to have to wipe the front of your visor quite a bit, although I was getting water inside the visor, especially when I slowed down and flicked the visor up, and I got ended up getting rain droplets on the inside of it. It was a bit of a pain, but oh yeah, you get used to it. I think from memory, this is us rolling into Taupō, good Kiwi logging town, known for its KFC on the main drag, and the big long street through the main drag. Or I could be totally wrong. I have no idea where we are now. Absolutely no idea. There was a fair amount of traffic on the road, so this was a Friday morning, I think it was. A Friday morning. We're probably looking at around about, I don't know, 6:30, and I think we might be actually coming into Taupō. Yeah, so this is about 6:30 in the morning, and there's not a lot of traffic around, considering, but yeah, quite a few trucks, and yeah, I honestly don't mind travelling along behind and around. Trucks, they generally seem to keep pretty safe. Definitely Taupō with those giant wooden logger statues there. That craziness you see on the video where it looks like it's got waves running through it, sort of thing that happens with video cameras, called rolling shutter. So I don't know how to fix it, and I don't know, I think it looks pretty cool. What did impress me about the KLR, so this is the first set of tyres on the bike itself, so they're the OEM, as they call it, the original equipment tyres that are on the KLR. They're a Dunlop K705, I think is the designation for the tyre. They're an okay tyre. Like, a lot of people poo-poo them and try and get them off as quick as possible. I decided I'd leave mine on. I've just changed them now, so I've got Pirellis on there now, but these Dunlops, I changed them at 4,500 Ks, and so this ride here I've probably done maybe 4,000 Ks on them at this point here, and even though they were down a bit, they provided some pretty decent grip. I don't think I had any major issues with grip on the way up or down, although I'll admit that when I was riding in this really heavy rain, my speeds were fairly reduced, so I wasn't caning it too hard, but yeah, I was really impressed with the stickability and grip that I got off the Dunlops. If my memory and geography serve me correctly, this is Patauru, just north of Taupō, so I should be right. Another logging town on the main highway. The one thing about like riding in this heavy rain, the fact that all my gear got wet, I wasn't cold, so I essentially had some Swazi like bottom layer, I guess you'd call it, fleece on, thin fleece like on my legs and one on my arms, and then just a t-shirt over the top of that, and that was it, and didn't get cold. So even though I was wet, I didn't get any cooling effects from riding at this speed. So starting to lighten up a bit now. Makes it a bit more of an enjoyable ride because you can actually see the road, so you don't have to hope like hell you're not going to hit any potholes on the way up. Plus I'm getting into more roads that I'm more familiar with, being further up the island, and looking forward to hitting the bottom of the expressway at Cambridge, where you can get up to 110 legally, and that pretty much goes all the way through to I think around Pocono, somewhere like that. Mercer is where the expressway stops, so a fair chunk of road where you can get some fairly decent speeds legally. And this is coming into T-Row. If you look very carefully on the left hand side, you'll see the giant corrugated iron sheep and sheepdog. I think there's a sheepdog and a sheep. Two big corrugated iron buildings on the left. This is sort of a iconic town in New Zealand, and it should be around about probably going to get covered by a truck. So around about there's the sheep. Yeah, there's a sheep, and there's the dog. So we've got both of those in, so that's pretty cool. And flying out of T-Row, once you get out of T-Row, that's where you pretty much hit the end of the expressway. As you can see, the rain is becoming quite substantial now. There was a lot of wind as well. It was, once I got up onto sort of the Hauraki Plains, the wind picked up, and yeah, it was a bit of a battle with the spraying coming off the other vehicles, the rain that was coming down constantly, the wind, and trying to keep yourself upright. It was a challenge, but it was well worth it. Probably one of the better rides I've ever done. Seem to be a feature of New Zealand now, these giant roundabouts with big things in the middle of them. I think they're pretty good. They seem to regulate the traffic quite well, and I don't know the stats, but I'm picking that a big roundabout like that rather than an intersection probably reduces crashes. And we're all about reducing crashes. So we're starting to head into the expressway now. You can see from the sort of the centre line on my right hand side, or the left hand side of the screen, it's got one of those cheese cutters down the centre. I don't know, I saw when they first started putting those in, I was a little bit sort of in two minds, as you know, if a motorcycle rider comes off and ends up going into that cheese grater, he's gonna, you know, it's not going to be very favourable to him. But you know, to be honest, riding next to those things gives you that extra little peace of mind thing, that the vehicles from the other side of the road are not going to cross you. And I mean, if you're in control of yourself, and you've got no one else to blame, then you know, at least the other vehicles are staying on their side of the road, which is, as we all know, the biggest danger with motorcycling is someone else. So yeah, I like the cheese graters. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the show.